During this particular clip, they were talking about essentially the power of the transition three off of a fast break. And they were discussing, coaches always tell players, wide out. Instead of running to the basket, you now run to the corners to get the 3-point shot. So they were discussing this. And then in the midst of discussing this, LeBron, who's listening to JJ Redick paint the picture, he then gets to a point where he's listening to the numbers, and then he brings up the situation with the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. And you could tell that this way of thinking with the threes has become so dogmatic that it takes out the common sense out of basketball. And it got to a particular point in the conversation where LeBron says there's going to come a time where you have to say F no to analytics. And I thought it was beautiful because we needed a person of this stature to come out there and say something like this. So for those of you who didn't hear LeBron James comment on this, want to play what LeBron had to say about this now, and then want to come back and react to LeBron James's comments. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
Let's call 18 to 24 seconds on the shot clock. Let's call that early shot clock. Yep. Okay? First 6 seconds of the shot clock. In 2014, 2015, the average team for this season took 322 total threes in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock.
Okay. What is this? You said 13, 14?
Yeah,
okay.
14, 15.
15.
Five teams attempted below 200 total threes for the season in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock.
Yep.
Last season's data, that number was up by 100 total threes, basically 420 total threes.
Yep.
Half the league attempted 400 or more total threes in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock. That's the other thing that has changed the most, is when you get a defensive stop, and I don't care where the you are on the court when you get this stop, where are people running?
Yeah. Run wide. That's all you hear.
Run wide.
Run wide.
To the 3-point line.
That's it.
Okay? Right? So these early shot clock threes, you know what the average effective field goal percentage on that is? Same thing, 55%.
Really?
It's a good shot. I
can't wrap my head around it. Am I too old school? I don't want to say old school, but am I too still like in my ways of...
Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna give you something here, though.
Zero pass shots?
I'm gonna give you something here, though. I'm gonna give you something. You got guys running wide.
Correct.
Running the corner. This is you with the ball.
Yeah.
This is Giannis with the ball.
Yeah.
This is Ja Morant with the ball.
Space.
What does that give you?
So much space. Early attacks.
There's a reason that you motherfuckers are averaging like 10 fast break points a game.
Early attacks.
This shot is worth 1.5 more than this shot. If you can make it.
If you can make it.
If you can make it.
So what happens when...
No, the value of this versus the value of this versus the value of this.
So
right.
So what happens when...
Why do you think you guys have a good offense?
Houston Rockets missed 25 or 28 straight threes?
Have you seen it happen since?
I have not. How many did they miss in a row?
27.
27 straight threes.
27.
And they kept shooting them.
Yeah.
It's not like all of them was only 3-point shooters. It's not like they had 5 Craig Hodgeses on their team or 5 Steve Kerrs on the floor, where that's all they can do is shoot threes. They had guys that can, Eric Gordon, you can get into the paint. James Harden, you can get into the paint.
But you're making a valid point.
Well, why?
You're making a valid point, and I want to acknowledge your point. You still have to be a basketball player.
Thank you.
You still have to read the game.
That's all.
You still have to understand.
That's all I ask.
Time and score. So
there's a time and place where analytics should be like, get the out.
Yeah.
So you heard what LeBron James had to say there. First of all, I love what he said, because as LeBron was listening to JJ go through the numbers, he said, but wait a minute. Basketball is a game you also think. It's a game that you think, and sometimes you have to think the game. For example, if you're so bought into 3s and 2s, guess what you miss out on? Number one, not exploiting mismatches. Because, for example, you may see a player like Joel Embiid standing at the 3-point line taking 3s. That's a bad shot. Why? Because Joel Embiid is more of a threat when he's posting up. because of post-ups, you can collapse the defense, you can draw double teams, you can get the hockey assist, you can get players moving, you get the strong side, you load the strong side, and all type of good things happen. But whenever you now become so focused on shooting threes, number one, you take away that threat. Number two, you take away your size advantage. And number three, by you standing further out by the three-point line, if a shot gets missed, guess what? Chances of you corralling that offensive rebound totally disappear, unless you have some guys that can really box out, right? So to me, there's a time and place for analytics.